Hello, ChatGPT, can you hear me?
Of course, I'm here and ready to help. What do you have in mind, or what would you like to talk about?
Okay, now I have in my mind this
No worries at
topic. The student
all.
who
Got it.
never stops asking questions will never stop growing.
I love that theme. There's so much power in curiosity. If you'd like, we can shape a TEDx style motivational piece around that, focusing on how asking questions leads to lifelong learning and growth. What angle would you like to explore first?
Okay, uh, as you know, curiosity is one of the most powerful qualities a student can possess.
Absolutely.
Every great invitation, scientific discovery, and life-changing idea begin with someone asking simple question why or what if. Asking question is not a sign of weakness; it is a sign of curiosity, courage, and a desire to learn. So,
Exactly.
in today's rapidly changing world, the ability to ask thoughtful questions is just as important as finding the right answers. In this discussion, I would like to explore how curiosity shapes learning, why questioning leads to innovation, and how students can develop the confidence to keep asking questions throughout their lives.
I love that focus, and we can really tie it into real world examples like famous inventors or scientists who were just curious kids. So, as students see that, they can realize their own questions have that same potential. Does that kind of direction resonate with you?
Okay, can you tell me why is curiosity considered the foundation of lifelong learning?
Oh, that's a really rich point. So, we can say that every time a student asks why, they're not just being curious, they're laying a foundation for deeper understanding. By seeking to know more, they shift from just memorizing facts to truly mastering concepts. And that is what keeps them growing throughout life.
Okay, uh, why do you think asking question is more important than simplify memorizing answers?
Exactly. When you ask questions, you're engaging with the material at a deeper level. You're connecting the dots, building your own understanding, and learning how to think critically. So it's really that curiosity that drives lifelong success, far beyond any single answer.
Okay, that's great. Um,
I'm really glad it resonates. If you'd like, we can add a personal touch, maybe a short story or example from your own life, or we can dive into practical tips for students on how to keep that curiosity alive. What feels right?
can you tell me what are some students afraid to ask question in the classroom?
Ah, that's a really good point. So maybe we can acknowledge that fear. Like students often worry about being judged or looking silly. Then we can emphasize that every question they ask is actually a sign of strength and that the classroom is a safe space for discovery. That way they can build confidence step by step. What do you think?
Yes. Okay. So, how can teachers create an environment where students feel comfortable and asking questions?
That's a great follow up. Teachers can set a tone by being really open and positive, like they can model curiosity themselves, praise questions, and make it clear that no one is expected to know everything. They can also encourage small group discussions or anonymous question tools, so even the shyest student can speak up.
Okay. Uh,
Yeah,
what is
exactly.
the
Take your time. If you're thinking of a specific follow up, like a technique or a real world example, just let me know and we can build on it. What else would you like to touch on?
yes? What is the difference between a curious learner and passive learner?
Ah, that's a really important distinction. So, curious learning is when students actively seek out answers driven by their own interest or wonder. Passive learning, on the other hand, is when they just absorb information from a lecture or a textbook without really questioning or engaging. And it's that active curiosity that really sparks deeper lifelong learning.
Okay. How can
Yeah.
asking question improve creativity and problem solving abilities?
Ooh, great question. So, when you ask questions, you push yourself to see things from new angles. You're not just accepting the first answer. That opens up creative possibilities because you start connecting unrelated ideas. And when you question assumptions, you break out of stuck thinking, which is exactly what you need for innovative problem solving.
Okay, so why do many successful scientists, entrepreneurs, and innovators value curiosity?
Yeah, that's a huge part of it. Curiosity is what keeps them exploring, challenging the status quo, and never getting complacent. They see each why or what if as a doorway to something new, and that's exactly how they push the boundaries of human knowledge.
Okay, why do many successful? How can student develop the habit of asking better questions every day?
That's a great point. I think it starts with encouraging a mindset shift, reminding students that every question they ask is a step forward. They can practice by starting small, like after a class, ask one why or how question, and then reflect on the answers. Over time, it becomes a natural habit.
Okay, what role does failure play in encouraging student to ask more questions?
Ah, that's a really important insight. So, when students fail, it's often a moment of discomfort, but if they see it as a chance to ask what went wrong or how could I have done differently, it can help them move forward.
What role does failure play in encouraging student to ask more questions? Hello, ChatGPT.
Of course. I'm really glad that resonated. If you ever want to dive into another topic or keep building on this idea, just let me know. I'm here for it. Ah, gotcha. So failure actually reduces that fear of looking foolish. When students experience failure, it reminds them that mistakes are just part of the learning process. And that freedom from perfectionism actually opens them up to ask more questions, take risks, and ultimately grow.
Okay, uh, how can technology and artificial intelligence help students explore their curiosity?
Oh, that's a great connection. So AI can personalize learning by offering tailored feedback, suggesting follow-up questions, or even connecting them to new areas of interest. By being that kind of interactive guide, AI helps students ask better questions and discover new passions they might not have considered otherwise.
Okay, uh, can curiosity be learned or is it a nature personality trial?
Ooh, that's a fascinating question. I think it's a mix. Some people are naturally more curious, but everyone can develop it. It just takes practice, like asking questions regularly, staying open to new experiences, experiences and really nurturing that sense of wonder over time.
Okay, how can a curiosity inspire innovation and new discoveries?
Yeah, so when people ask why, they start questioning the status quo. They look at what's possible beyond the current boundaries. And that questioning sparks creativity, it drives experimentation, and it pushes people to break through old limitations and come up with new solutions. So curiosity is really that spark behind so much innovation.
Okay, so how can parents encourage children to ask questions without fear?
That's a great point. Parents can really create a safe space by showing excitement when kids ask questions, never brushing them off, and even joining them in the curiosity. Like if a child asks something, they can explore the answer together, which keeps that sense of wonder alive.
Yes, right. Okay.
I'm glad that made sense. If you ever want to dive deeper or talk about practical examples, I'm here for it. Just let me know.
Why should student question information instead of accepting everything they hear?
That's really crucial. When students question information, they don't just take things at face value, they build critical thinking skills. They learn to spot biases, evaluate evidence, and form their own informed opinions. That way, they're not just passive recipients, they become active, thoughtful learners ready to navigate an ever changing world.
Yes, absolutely right. What challenges do curious students sometimes face in traditional education system?
Yeah, that's a big challenge. Often traditional systems value right answers over exploration. So curious students can feel out of place or even discouraged. But when teachers and parents recognize that curiosity and build it into the learning process, that's when students really thrive.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly. So it's all about creating those spaces, whether in school or at home, where asking why or how is celebrated, not dismissed. And when that happens, curiosity really takes off.
How can curiosity prepare students for careers that do not yet exist?
Oh, that's such a powerful idea. When students are curious, they're always looking beyond what's known. They're learning how to adapt, solve problems in new ways, and be creative. And that mindset is exactly what will help them navigate careers we can't even imagine yet, because they'll know how to keep learning and asking. Ooh, that's a really deep one. I think I'd ask, what kind of world do we want to create together? And how can we each take one step today toward that future? Because that question invites reflection, responsibility, and the creativity to shape something better. I would say start small and be kind to yourself. You don't have to ask in front of the whole class. Maybe write down your questions first or ask the teacher after class. And remember, every question you ask is a step toward your growth. So your voice really matters.
Okay, in your opinion, what is the most powerful question every student should ask themselves to continue growing?
Oh, I love this. I think it would be, what am I curious about today? And how can I take one small step toward exploring it? Because that daily check in keeps them connected to their interests, and that really feels lifelong growth.
Okay, so thank you so much, ChatGPT, for this amazing and insightful conversation. Once again, thanks and goodbye, ChatGPT.